They liked the balance that they had in race.
Casey Kane, we congratulate him, his third career pole.
It's all three Hendrick Motorsports in the front.
There's a few movers and shakers out there.
Carl Edwards free falling for a couple to victory lane is Joey Logano.
One's creepy and one's kooky. We'll let you choose who's hooky. Their picks aren't worth a dookie. Here's Tyler and Robbie.
Yo-Yo. Bozo. Rango.
Wow, what an open to the Halloween edition of the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show. This is 2003 Robbie Mays, and I'm the one and only Ken Bone. And we'll get to that later.
Interpretation of Ken Bone.
Somebody said I look like Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah, you really do.
Anyways, we're here to have some fun today. It was a wild weekend in Talladega, Alabama last week, Robbie, where we saw everything from Joe Gibbs Racing employing a strategy that most people haven't seen in a while to Martin Truex Jr., Brad Keselowski, two favorites being out of the chase now. Your assessments of Talladega?
Well, the two drivers who blew up would not go on my MySpace page, 2003. But some of their songs, I could totally get them in iTunes now. It's disappointing, and I feel kind of ridiculous talking about this, like wearing this. It's disappointing to me because Brad Keselowski and Martin Truex Jr. were two of the most dominant cars all season long. So for them to not be able to have a chance at the championship, I know it's disappointing. It's I wouldn't call it a wasted season, but it's a disappointing season, even with the 4 wins. But there's still opportunities for them to go out and get more wins, play the part of spoiler coming up over the next 4 races now as we enter the round of 8.
Yeah, those two have nothing to lose now. I mean, they're good. They're good at Martinsville. Brad Keselowski has a couple top 5s in the last 3 races at Martinsville. He'll be good there.
Yeah.
Martin Truex Jr., arguably one of the best cars at mile-and-a-half racetracks all year long. So I wouldn't say that Keselowski or Truex couldn't win a race here at the end of the year, don't you think?
I totally think they could win at least 1, maybe 2 races coming up here. Of course, you're still going to have to beat the likes of Jimmy Johnson, the next couple of weeks. We'll talk about that in a little while. And obviously, Kevin Harvick is a favorite at Phoenix every time we go there. And Homestead, those two guys could definitely play spoiler for somebody trying to win the championship at Homestead Miami Speedway here in a couple of weeks.
All right, coming up on the show today, Kim Coon will join us. She'll be calling in. Also, we'll have our teams. We'll have our winners. Of course, we'll have that Under the Rock segment we always do. And I guess we're going to have different Robbie Mays characters throughout the day.
We'll see.
Is that a spoiler?
We'll see.
Maybe.
We're going to have some fun.
Anyways.
It's Halloween, by the way, in case you guys haven't noticed that.
And that's coming up on Monday. But hopefully you have a nice Halloween weekend. After the break, we'll talk fantasy teams. This is the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show presented by Hercules Tires.
Got a question or opinion about your fantasy lineup? Give us a call at 8444-ASK-MRN, and it may get used on next week's show. The Inside Line will return in a moment.
O'Reilly. Improve visibility when you replace your worn wiper blades with Bosch Icon or Trico Force wiper blades during O'Reilly Auto Parts See Better, Drive Safer sale. Plus, get a $15 O'Reilly gift card after mail-in rebate. Get premium blades with Bosch or Trico wiper blades at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Business is a lot like racing. It takes a strong team of pros to succeed. That's why Freightliner Trucks created TeamRunSmart.com, a free online community that connects owner-operators with the trucking industry's A-team. The Team Run Smart pros and coaches help maximize your profitability with real-world advice on everything from fuel-efficient speccing to healthy eating to filing taxes. Sign up today to earn rewards and connect with fellow truckers at TeamRunSmart.com.
There's a place where time stands still, but the clock always ticks. A place where the roots begin.
The heartland of stock car racing.
But the tree is still growing.
Green flag. It is out. Joey Logano on the quick.
It's Martinsville Speedway.
Yes, boys.
NASCAR Sprint Cup Series races back to the half mile of mayhem October 30th for the Goody's Fast Relief 500. Tickets are on sale now. Call 877-RACE-TICKS or visit martinsvillespeedway.com to purchase yours.
This is Halloween, this is Halloween, 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 Halloween. this town we call home. Everyone hail to the pumpkin song.
In this town, don't we love it now?
One of the best movies, as far as I'm concerned. And Robbie, I don't know if you know that movie, but
hang on, I'm playing.
That is The Night Before Christmas. This is a new Robbie Mays.
The Night Before Christmas?
Is that what it was?
I believe it's. You don't even know your own favorite movies. It's The Nightmare Before Christmas. Wow. This is weekend, Robbie. I was playing Xbox a little while ago, and this is what I normally wear on the weekends: a hoodie and a hat.
And if you're just joining us, I'm Ken Bone, who went viral asking a question during the debate. Well, later on, we'll talk to Kim Coon, who sent out a tweet that last week, I guess, that did not make me too happy about it. So we'll show that tweet later, and we'll talk more about that. But right now, we're going to talk about our fantasy teams heading to the Martinsville Speedway. Robbie Mays, we head to the short track. You know, in the fall, the leaves are changing, and that means we're winding down to the championship. I mean, we have 4 more races left until we decide a champion, 3 more in this round, then, of course, the championship race at Homestead. Your number 1 pick heading into Martinsville this weekend?
I think the number 1 pick heading to Martinsville this weekend, regardless of what he's done here the last few weeks, the last year, the last couple of races here, I think the number 1 pick this weekend has got to be the 48 of Jimmy Johnson. 8 wins at Martinsville Speedway. His numbers here are redonkulous. 2,746 laps led. His average finish is a 7.5. He's second in driver rating and 10-race average. His 10-race average is 11.1. His driver rating is 117.8, second only to Jeff Gordon. So, you know, if you're going to be second to somebody at a track, that's pretty good to be second to Jeff Gordon at Martinsville Speedway. But I think Jimmy Johnson, had a little struggle last week at Talladega, but a lot of folks did. But they're in prime chase form right now, so I think Jimmy Johnson is your number 1 pick this weekend.
I agree with you. I think that Jimmy Johnson co-owns Martinsville. Of course, he has 8 wins at the Martinsville Speedway. Jeff Gordon, who is the prime owner of Martinsville Speedway, has 9 wins. Those two right now, I mean, not right now, I mean, over their entire career have been the best drivers at Martinsville, in history. So you look at those two this weekend. Jeff Gordon is back in the car, in the 88 car this weekend, racing for Dale Earnhardt Jr. I actually am starting Jeff Gordon as well. I have Jimmy Johnson and I have Jeff Gordon. I just have a hard time not starting Jeff Gordon at Martinsville. And the fact is, yeah, he's been great at Martinsville over his career, but he's been good recently. I mean, you look at his success of late, and the last 10 races, which is 5 years, of course, his worst finish is 14th. His average finish is a 5.8. That's nearly cutting everyone's finishes in half. Jimmy Johnson has 11.8 average finish, so if you cut his in half, that's what Jeff Gordon's is. I just have a hard time not starting Jeff Gordon no matter what car he's in. And he's in a pretty good car. I mean, the Hendrick Motorsports has good cars every time we go there.
Yeah, and, if you take a look at the most wins all time at Martinsville Speedway, obviously Jeff Gordon is up there. There was a time, Tyler, we went here, and it was probably 20 years into his career, maybe 19, somewhere around in there. It was about 2010, 2011, where he had completed all but about 15 laps at Martinsville Speedway throughout the course of his career. And you think about all the races here, all the times he could have had an opportunity to have problems. He just never had problems here. I like Jeff Gordon at Martinsville. Unfortunately, I could not afford him this week with some other drivers that I've got. I talked about last week having Jimmy Johnson, holding on to him for future races. I've also picked back up Kevin Harvick this weekend, and that's kind of the same strategy I'm pulling with him. He's good at Martinsville, and he's only got 1 win here. That was in 2011, but he still races pretty strong here. Pretty decent driver rating, pretty good 10-race average. So I'm going to hold on to Kevin Harvick here for next week at Texas. He gets around the mile and a half, really good. And obviously Phoenix coming up here at the end of the month, or the beginning of next month, I guess. Whatever it is, 3 races from right now. Those are some good options to have going forward into the round of 8, Harvick and Johnson.
Harvick is in the top 10 of driver rating at Martinsville. Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Dale Earnhardt Jr. That's your top 5 in driver rating. So right now you have Jimmy Johnson, you have Kevin Harvick on your team. Let's start going down to our third place guy, and I believe we have a pair of Toyotas in this one. I have Kyle Busch. He won this race in the spring. He's the only driver to come into this race with 2 straight top 5 finishes at Martinsville. He finished 5th in this race last year. He won, of course, in the spring. Kyle Busch is great at short tracks. I mean, of course, that was only his first win at Martinsville, But right now, the Toyotas, and you might agree with me, Robbie, the Toyotas right now are the best at short track racing in the entire Sprint Cup Series. Is that correct?
Well, if you go back and look at Richmond, it was the 11 car in victory lane. Harvick won at Bristol. Go back to the springtime. Carl Edwards won 2 of the 3, and then Kyle won the other one. So, yeah, I could get behind Toyota being strong at the short tracks right now. I don't feel like they've been the strongest manufacturer the last month or so. I feel like Chevrolet has kind of have overtaken them.
Have we been
to
a short track here in the last month?
No, but we're going to one this weekend. I've got Denny Hamlin on my team. I picked him up this week, 5-time Martinsville winner. He finished 3rd in this race last year, 39th back in the spring. He wheel hopped going into a corner, crashed, and just had a bad day. But 21 starts, he's won here 5 times. One of the highest 10 race averages at a 13.4, and the 3rd highest driver rating at a 108.1. So I think Denny Hamlin, I think Jimmy Johnson, those 2 guys, you can't go wrong with them this weekend.
Yeah, I like the Hamlin pick. The problem is I picked him the last time we were there, and that did not work for me.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, Hamlin, definitely I think is going to run somewhere towards the front. Does he have problems? I really don't know. This is not necessarily a wild card race this weekend because guys who are good at Martinsville typically are good every time we go there. But, I mean, anything can happen. You know, Hamlin does not wheel hop probably 9 out of 10 times, and it's just that one time that happens the last time, you know?
Yeah, and took him out of a shot for a win.
All right, who's your 4th guy on your team this week?
I'm going to add A.J. Allmendinger at 1575. This is actually one of his best racetracks in the Sprint Cup Series. Finished 2nd here back in the spring, 11 in this race 1 year ago. He gets around here well, Tyler, and agree or disagree with this. I think this track has some road course tendencies to it, and I think that suits his driving style. So I think that's why he's so good here throughout the course of his career. 4 top 10s and 16 career starts.
Yeah, you ask most of the drivers in the garage, they'll tell you Watkins Glen, Sonoma. It's similar to driving a short track. You have tight corners. Restarts are important. You have to outbrake somebody, which you do at Martinsville, and I think that's why A.J. Allmendinger is so good there. I agree with you. He finished 2nd in the spring at Martinsville, and other than a 43rd place finish in the spring of 2015, A.J. has been great at Martinsville in the last 5 races. 11th in the spring of 2014, 9th in this race in 2014, 11th in this race last year, and, of course, the 2nd place finish. A.J. Allmendinger is on my team as well. Your final 5th pick to round out your team this week.
Jeffrey Earnhardt, back in the 32 car this week, making his first start here at Martinsville in the Sprint Cup Series.
All right, I got Landon Castle. Landon has been 28th or better in the last 5 races here at Martinsville. I think he can probably get you a top 30 finish. The reason why you have to go with someone like a Jeffrey Earnhardt or Landon Castle, of course, if you watch every week, Allmendinger, Busch, Johnson, Gordon, that's a pretty expensive team, and your team is expensive as well with Hamlin, Johnson, and Harvick, right?
Yeah.
All right?
Yes. So Harvick, Johnson, Hamlin, Allmendinger, and Jeffrey Earnhardt.
And my team's Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, Kyle Busch, A.J. Allmendinger, and Landon Castle. I will explain to you why I'm wearing this costume next, because Kim Coon is after the break. Robbie is probably going to change into a different costume, and then we're going to talk more fantasy racing.
Sure.
All right? After the break, you'll hear from Kim Coon. This is the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show presented by Hercules Tires.
Tyler and Robbie will be right back to talk more fantasy racing here on the Inside Line.
Whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules Tires will get you there, whether you're running on dirt or running a job. Our dependable, high-quality tires are the perfect fit for your needs. For unmatched value, selection, and warranty with industry-leading road hazard protection, there's only one choice: Hercules Tires. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com or call 800-677-9535. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
Ready to take the training wheels off your race scanner? Go to fanvision.com and upgrade your experience with FanVision. Not only will you be able to hear the race,
Dale Earnhardt Jr. gets a good run, drafting help from Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick. Jr. again pulls up alongside for the race lead.
You'll see every moment through live video, instant replays, live stats, and more.
Hi, I'm Jamie McMurray, driver of the #1 Cessna Chevrolet, and I never go to the track without my FanVision. So go to fanvision.com to rent or buy yours today.
Live sports are the one true reality entertainment, where a single dramatic moment can become timeless. In NASCAR, Motor Racing Network's live broadcast elevates your senses to the sights, sounds, and struggles taking place on the racetrack.
Keselowski to the bottom of the racetrack. He tries to slide up. Newman is there. Sideways is Keselowski.
The power of radio to the imagination of the listener. Tune in to the Motor Racing Network. Visit MRN.com for an affiliate list in your local area.
The Munsters bringing us back on this Halloween edition of the Inside Line. Robbie Mays.
You know who the Munsters are.
Yeah, I've never seen an episode. Is it an episode or a movie?
I'm done talking to you. This is Nerd Robbie. I am a nerd at heart, so I have on my Star Wars shirt, my hat backwards, and still got my Xbox controllers playing during the break.
Kim Coon has joined us here on the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show. Kimmy, how are you?
I'm doing good. Sorry I couldn't make it in.
You should be here right now, Kim. This set needs, not me and Tyler sitting on it right now.
How do you know I'm not sitting in between the two of you and I just have a really good costume as a ghost and you can't see me?
Oh.
Well, you would probably give me crap for my costume. Well, actually, we have proof of this, and we'll throw this up right now. Last week, the 18th of October, 2016, Kim Coon tweeted, over or under, how many dudes decide to be Ken Bone for Halloween because they're lazy and already own all of the items needed? Well, Kimmy, I had to go to Goodwill to get this, whatever this is, sweatshirt or whatever. But no, I am dressed up as Ken Bone, and Robbie, he's just been changing costumes. But what do you got to say to that? I mean, Ken Bone's a popular costume in Halloween time, no?
I should have guessed that you would have been Ken Bone, and Goodwill is basically the same thing as your closet. So.
Wow.
And I don't know about the mustache. I feel like you do look like Mr. Potato Head with the mustache.
Wow. That's awesome. Anyways, let's talk fantasy racing. Heading to Martinsville, Kimmy, who do you like this weekend?
I like the boys from JGR. I like Denny Hamlin. Outside of Jimmy Johnson, he's got the most wins at Martinsville with 5. I think after the way he transferred into the round of 8, tying Austin Dillon and only advancing because of his running position, I think he maybe realizes he needs to step up his game. I think a Virginia track like Martinsville is the place for him to do it. And then I also like Kyle Busch. He went forever and ever and ever without a Martinsville win. He was able to get it in the spring. And I think that win opens up the door for more wins, this weekend included.
Kim, I know we're going to be, and we talked about this going into Martinsville last week, or Talladega last week with Winston Kelly. Martinsville, we're going to be focused on those 8 chase drivers, the 8 cars with the yellow windshield and the spoilers. Talk about some spoilers, though. Who might end up in victory lane this weekend and deny somebody an opportunity to move into the Final Four at Miami?
Yeah, I've got my eye on some non-chasers on my fantasy list, and guys that weren't even in the chase and got bumped out. These are guys that weren't even chasers to begin with. I'm looking at Ricky Stenhouse Jr. I know he hasn't had the best record at Martinsville, but I feel like the Roush cars have shown a lot of speed lately, and I liked what he did at Bristol. Obviously a very different track than Martinsville, but it is a short track, and I really liked that second place finish he had the last time we were at Bristol, and I think possibly we could see some good things out of him. And then I'm also looking at A.J. Allmendinger. He finished runner-up in April at Martinsville, and I think he could definitely be a spoiler, and if not take the checker flag, then he could definitely be a guy we see in the top 5.
Yeah, I definitely like those picks. I also like Kyle Larson, who finished 3rd in the spring. Ryan Newman has 2 top 10s in a row at Martinsville coming into this race, and, of course, Jamie Murray, who finished 2nd in this race last year. So those are some sleeper picks. So you have Hamlin, you have Kyle Busch. Who are you looking at kind of in that middle category, probably somewhere around $20, maybe 19, 18, somewhere around there?
I'd have to say Chase Elliott. I assume that's what we're valuing him at right now. Although he doesn't have a lot of experience at Martinsville, I think what he did in April, even though he finished 20th, gave him a little taste of what to expect. He's been closer and closer to a win as we move further and further into the season. I don't know if we would see him take the checkers, but I think he could have a good showing if he can keep that car together this weekend.
Yeah, I think that's a good choice. I had him on my team for a little while this week, and then I kind of dropped him after that. Kim, we've got 2 drivers this weekend who are probably, one might be making his final start ever, and one's definitely making his final start at Martinsville Speedway, Jeff Gordon or Tony Stewart. I've looked at both. They're both good here. If you had to choose between Smoke or Jeff Gordon, who would you pick?
That's a really, really tough decision. Smoke has finished top 10 in 2 of the last 3 races at Martinsville. Jeff, I'd like to pick him over Tony Stewart just because he's so good at Martinsville, and I would love to see the same sort of thing we saw last season. But I just feel like he's going to get caught up in something. He's not in the car consistently enough, I feel like, to allow him to have, a good race at Martinsville. So I think Jeff Gordon could run into trouble. So I'm going to pick Tony Stewart over Jeff.
Oh, that's interesting. I have Jeff Gordon on my team this week. I just feel like the way he's run the last 10 races, it's hard not to pick him. What did I say? His worst finish is 14th out of the last 10 races. That's hard not to pick against. But I do like the Tony Stewart pick. I think he has 3 wins at Martinsville. That's interesting. So now you're looking at somewhere towards the bottom of your fantasy team, Kimmy. I mean, you have Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott. You're probably going to need to go a little bit cheaper. You said Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is a guy you like. Who else do you like towards the bottom price range?
I like Clint Boyer.
Okay.
Now, I know. Wait, let me explain. He hasn't had a good season this year. He didn't have a good Martinsville race in the spring. I think he finished like 25th. But overall, over his career, I feel like he's done some good things at Martinsville. Top 10 in 7 of the last 11 Martinsville races. And I think at this point in the season, he's just doesn't even care. So much so that I think he can go out there, have fun, and not get it done, but potentially have a good race just because he doesn't care. It's nothing to lose at this point. He's looking forward to the checkered flag at Homestead, so I think that could play into the fact that, he's got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Kim, this is normally the time of the week when we ask for one name, but since we're closing in now, we're getting close to the Final Four in Miami. Give me 4 names. Who do you think will make the Final Four, and then give us a winner for this week in Martinsville?
Oh, God. The 4 in the championship 4 is really, really tough looking at the guys that are in the round debate, especially you walk through the garage and you talk to the teams, the crew chiefs, and they all say, like, they feel like this chase is the hardest chase we've ever seen in terms of the talent and the way teams are running. But I'm going to go with Logano, Johnson, Kenseth, and Hamlin.
All right. You like that? I like that. All right. So
Yeah.
your winner this weekend at Martinsville.
Got to go with Kyle Busch. I mentioned it earlier. I think that spring win opens up the door for more wins at Martinsville for Kyle Busch, this weekend included. I think he takes home the checkered, and he leads all drivers this season in laps on short track.
So Kyle Busch wins this weekend, yet he's not in your Final Four.
That's true. That's true. I mean, if we're looking at them separately, then yeah. That's a good point. That's a good point. Maybe I should move him to 5-4 if I think he wins this weekend.
Let's just take out Hamlin, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. There you have it. So my 2 guys that I had from JGR, Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch. I had Denny moving on. I didn't think about the fact that it is win and get in.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say Kyle Busch instead of Denny Hamlin.
All right.
In the
Our final
4.
question, what are you going to be for Halloween, since you're making fun of my Ken Bone costume?
How about I give you clues, and if you can guess it.
All right. I like a little guessing game.
Yeah?
All
Okay.
right.
Cool.
It just depends on whether or not you've been up in pop culture lately, which I don't know if you have.
Well, Tyler's not going to guess.
Pink dress.
Pink dress. The Pink Panther.
Blue jacket.
Blue jacket.
Tall knee socks, like white Keds, and 5 boxes of Eggo waffles.
Wow.
Oh, I know. Okay, I got it. All right.
What is like Little
Robbie,
Debbie
you
or
have
something?
it?
I got it.
Like Little Debbie or something?
No, it's the kid from Stranger Things.
Yes.
What?
Good job,
Yeah.
Robbie.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've never seen Stranger Things.
We know.
All right, Kimmy, thanks so much. Have fun in Martinsville this weekend.
Appreciate it.
See ya.
All right, Kim Coon, everyone. What is Stranger Things?
I'll tell you about it later.
Our final break. This is the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show presented by Hercules Tires.
We'll be right back in just a moment to talk more fantasy racing with Tyler and Robbie here on the Inside Line.
O'Reilly. Restore lost fuel economy and eliminate rough idle with Lucas Fuel Injector Cleaner. Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, buy 2 bottles of Lucas Fuel Injector Cleaner and get 1 free. Clean clogged injectors and increase fuel efficiency with Lucas Fuel Injector Cleaner. Buy 2, get 1 free at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Motor Racing Network, glad to have you aboard for our coverage of practice, something we will be doing all throughout the year.
They are pretty close in practice.
You said you learned a lot in practice.
We can have a good, clean practice. How many teams are going to opt out of practice?
Get this practice session underway.
As we close out practice,
What are we talking about? Practice? We're talking about practice, man.
We are talking practice. Sprint Cup Series practice on the Motor Racing Network. Join us all season long on MRN.com and the MRN app.
Visit Tom Johnson Camping World in Concord for all your race week needs. Race into savings now and save big on over 400 units in stock. America's #1 RV and outdoor retailer has something for everyone. Get race season started at your local NASCAR headquarters with travel trailers starting at only $109 per month. Don't let these savings pass you by. Meet us at Tom Johnson Camping World and save big on your dream RV. STK number 1262508, payments to qualified buyers with approved credit subject to lender terms. Based on statistical surveys 2015. See dealer for full offer details and disclaimers. Offers expire December 30th, 2016.
It's just a jump to the left. With your hands on your hips.
To the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show presented by Hercules Tires. I'm Robbie Mays. He doesn't have a clue. This is my final costume change of the day, and if Daryl, if you can get a shot of me from the single camera,
It's the only
right now,
costume you haven't been yourself, so that's
you'll be able
technically
to see stains on my shirt. This is after lunch, Tyler.
That's the only costume that you haven't been yourself in. So
I know. I'm pretty proud of
that's
this
the
one.
only costume you've had today.
I know. All right. Time for our favorite game of the week, Under a Rock or Tyler.
Do you live your life up under a rock? Or are you Tyler Burnett?
This is a photo. It's a Halloween-themed photo. I need the actor's name.
If it goes with the last rejoin, I have no idea.
I need the actor's name or the name. I'll also accept the name of the movie because I don't think you'll have that. So, Daryl, let's cue it up and let's play Under a Rock or Tyler. I need the actor's name or the movie.
No, I'm not even going to try. I've never seen that movie. I have no idea who the actor is. I mean, you might as well just chalk it up as a no. I'm not even going to make myself look stupid to guess that.
That would be Tim Curry as Dr. Frank Infurter, a scientist, from 1975's The Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Wow. I have never heard of that movie or that actor.
I know.
So,
Rango. We got Rango.
I think Rango's wearing a costume today. Eat this cow.
It's got the cowl on the back of it.
He's dressed up as a cow for Halloween.
He's dressed up as a cow for Halloween. That's ironic.
It's like Chick-fil-A.
This shirt literally smells so bad because I just dumped a whole bunch of
vinegar.
I dumped hot sauce and ketchup on it.
All right, picks for Rango: Greg Biffle, Denny Hamlin, Kurt Busch, Jimmy Johnson, Chris Buescher. His winner is Kurt Busch, and Chevrolet is his manufacturer. The cow makes his picks this week with Rango Fowler. All right, Robbie Mays, your winner this weekend at Martinsville Speedway.
Jimmy Johnson.
Jimmy Johnson? You're just
Win number 9.
Does he win his 7th championship?
No. I don't think he wins a championship, but I think he wins this weekend.
Well, you threw Kimmy on the spot. Who's your top 4 going now?
48, 18, 22, and 4.
All right. My winner this weekend is Denny Hamlin. I think he gets over the wheel hop he had the last time we were there, and I think he wins this race this weekend. I have the 11, the 4, the 48, and the 22 in my final 4. All right, times 11 a.m. Eastern is when the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series will practice today. That's coming up here in just over an hour, or just less than an hour. The Goody's Fast Relief 500 is at noon Eastern. Don't miss it. For Robbie Mays, I'm Tyler Burnett or Kim Bone.
He's Tyler
I'll talk
Burnett.
to you next week here on the Inside Line.
You've been listening to The Inside Line, presented by Hercules Tires. Stream us every Friday on MotorRacingNetwork.com or on the MRN app. The Inside Line is also available on demand at the MRN.com Media Center, or download it through iTunes or Stitcher. The Inside Line is a production of the Motor Racing Network.